All right. It is almost 5 in the afternoon now, and it's time to get some drops. In the last recording, I didn't want to get drops because the video was just getting too long. But we can finally start grinding for the drops in the Lumine Hall Sanctuary. And off camera, Jeff did fix the broken harmonica, and he has his new weapon, the Baddest Beam. And there's 4 drops for us to get, 3 of them being 1 in 128 odds, meaning it's some of the rarest enemy drops in the game. The Conducting Spirit has a 1 in 128 chance of dropping a Brain Food Lunch. The Hyper Spinning Rubbo also has a 1 in 128 chance of dropping a Meteotite. The Uncontrollable Sphere has a 1 in 128 chance of dropping a broken antenna, in which if Jeff fixes that, it will turn into his ultimate weapon, the Gaia Beam. So it's another part of the ultimate equipment. And then finally the Fabi, which has a 4 in 128 chance of dropping a PSI Caramel. So yeah, honestly, it will be better for us to start off with the 1 in 128 items first, because they suck. And the first target is going to be the Uncontrollable Sphere, since they explode when they die, which does damage to us. Okay, we gotta find a way to single this guy out. Alright. So yeah, I went into this room of the Lumine Hall Sanctuary because I feel like this is where uncontrollable spheres like to spawn the most. No, go. See, I'm trying to get that conducting spirit out of here. Okay, go. Dude, he keeps getting stuck on the rock. Yeah, go away. Go away. I literally don't need you. No, come. Okay, that could work. That could work too. Okay, let's get this conducting spirit out of here. Now, in order for Jeff to fix the broken antenna, he needs 65 IQ. And Jeff is not even close to 65 right now. All right, we have the uncontrollable sphere singled out. We have the save state. And let's just pray it doesn't take long to get this drop, because I do not like fighting the uncontrollable spheres. Okay, we don't have to worry about it exploding, since we can insta-kill them. That's great. And it also means the grinding will go by a lot faster, too. So yeah, Jeff won't be able to fix the broken antenna for a long time once we get it. So we're just gonna have to be stuck with using the baddest beam for a little bit until he gets 65 IQ, in which I think he has like 56 or 57 IQ right now, but I don't really remember. Okay. At least the uncontrollable sphere doesn't give me PTSD, unlike the palette swap of this guy, which is the smiling sphere, which you find in chapter 4. Because, the first time I did this challenge, the uncontrollable sphere didn't take me literal days to get. Like, dude, I hate the smiling sphere's smile so much. Like, that smile is just so evil because he just knows he's taunting you. He's like, oh, you want that meteornium from me? You want that meteornium? Too bad. But yeah, the uncontrollable sphere doesn't give me PTSD. It still sucks to fight though, since it explodes. This game sure loves exploding enemies. Oh yeah, and the uncontrollable sphere won't be the last enemy that explodes upon death. Because, of course, that's all this game needs. Just more exploding enemies. Oh yeah, and if I'm being completely honest, I think this might be the last time I will ever try to hunt for Jeff's ultimate weapon. Because unlike with the Sword of Kings, which is meant for Pooh, I don't grind for this drop on casual playthroughs. Because Jeff has other weapons that either do more damage or they're basically just as good as the Gaia Beam. Like the Moonbeam Gun or the Heavy Bazooka, which has explosive power, by the way, meaning it does damage to enemies nearby. And it's an infinite use item, so it never goes away. And then you also have multi-bottle rockets, which is literally the strongest weapon in the game. Except they can't be used infinitely. They go away once you use one. But Like, dude, the damage from multi-bottle rockets is actually insane. Like, I'm pretty sure they can do up to 2,000 damage with just one hit. Like, you don't, even if your characters are completely maxed out at level 99 and you have all of their ultimate equipment items, you still can't do over 1,000 damage with one attack. Like, the max I would see someone doing is like a little over 830 damage. But yeah, this is definitely going to be the last time I'm actually going to grind for Jeff's ultimate weapon. Like, don't get me wrong, the Gaia Beam is still cool to use, and it does a ton of damage too. But you know, Jeff has other weapons that are basically just as good as the Gaia Beam. Well, really, the Sword of Kings is the only ultimate equipment item you should grind for. Or at least that's what I recommend. Because the thing with ultimate equipment is that, yeah, they are good prizes for actually putting time and effort into trying to get these rare enemy drops. Most of them have other items that are similar to that ultimate equipment item, and they're just basically the same thing. And then one of the ultimate equipment items is just actually useless, which is kind of crazy since it is ultimate equipment. But yeah, you guys know which one I'm talking about. Gutsy Bat. Like, I feel like I feel like the Gutsy Bat, which is Nessa's ultimate weapon, like, I feel like it's just a slap in the face for actually trying to get the Gutsy Bat. Because not only is it a rare item drop from an incredibly rare enemy to find, and then on top of that, you get it in the final dungeon of the game, in which at that point there's literally nothing to use the Gutsy Bat on. And yeah, you can use it on the final boss, but you're not supposed to use physical attacks on the final boss. So it literally defeats the purpose of the Gutsy Bat. And then Paula's ultimate weapon is somehow worse than her second best weapon. I don't know. I seriously don't know how that works. Like how? But I'm not even joking about this either. Her ultimate weapon is actually worse than her second best. And while, yeah, it does increases Paula's guts by 100 points, which allows her to get more smash hits on enemies, it also gives you a 25% chance to miss an attack. And it decreases Paula's offense. Like, if you're grinding for the ultimate equipment, just don't even bother with the other ones besides the Sword of Kings. That's the only ultimate weapon I think is actually worth the grind. And then the Goddess Ribbon and Star Pendant are just cruel. Like, those two items, like, those are definitely top 3 hardest items to get in the whole game. Like, without a doubt. Like, you cannot tell me that getting the Goddess Ribbon and the Star Pendant isn't one of the hardest things to do in this game. But don't worry, the Star Pendant is the only drop of this challenge that I'm actually allowed to use exploits on. Because the enemy that drops the Star Pendant literally can't be singled out. So it makes her 1 in 128 chance, a 1 in 256 chance. So yeah, it just makes it even harder for you to get the Star Pendant. But yeah, you just can't single that enemy out. Like, I'm pretty sure it's the only enemy in this game that's actually impossible to single out. Okay, it can happen any moment now. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this earlier, but on one of the practice rounds of this challenge, I was grinding for the uncontrollable spheres drop, and it took me 4 separate days to get it. I think 4 days might actually be the longest grind out of any of the practice rounds, and also including the first time I did this challenge and the redemption, which I'm doing now. Oh yeah, and once this challenge is over, there's not going to be a redemption of this redemption. I'm just not even gonna. I'm just not doing this challenge ever again. But I do eventually want to do some more EarthBound challenges, like maybe beating the game without PSI, or beating the game without weapons or items. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm also gonna try to play EarthBound Beginnings sometime. Because again, this is the only Mother game that I've played. Because EarthBound is definitely the most accessible Mother game out of the trilogy. But EarthBound Beginnings is also on the Switch, so I'm gonna try to play that game sometime. Because EarthBound Beginnings happens before EarthBound, and I can't play Mother 3 because there's no English version of it yet, even though the game has been out for like 20 years at this point. Like, dude, I shouldn't have to boot up an emulator just to play Mother 3. See, I literally can't play Mother 3. But I have heard that Mother 3 is significantly better than EarthBound. And if the EarthBound community says so, then I'm just gonna trust them. But even if I did play Mother 3, I don't think I would be as hooked to that game as I would have been with this game. Because I only played EarthBound for the first time back in February of 2025. So that was a little over a year ago. And it was funny about it because on my first few hours of playing Earthbound, it was like I think it was like three. I don't know. I don't know the specific time, man. But I do know it was like the middle of the night on a Saturday night. And, I was just bored out of my mind that night. I had no idea what game I wanted to play. So I opened up the SNES games to figure out what game I wanted to play. And I was like, Donkey Kong Country, I'm not really in the mood for that. Or I could play Super Punch Out. I also wasn't in the mood for that. And I also wasn't in the mood for Super Mario World either. But I just scrolled up past those games. And I was just like sitting there for a few minutes. But then I look to the left and I see a game called EarthBound. And I was like, why not try this out? Let's just see what it's like. So yeah, I boot up the game. And the first few minutes were fine. And I was like, bro, this game is just a rip-off Pokemon. Like that's how I saw this game before I realized I was completely wrong. Like I was just like, bro, this game. Oh yes, let's go. Broken antenna. Let's go. 27 minutes of recording. That's not bad at all. But yeah, I was just like, bro, this game is so boring. And this is just a rip-off Pokemon. But then I encountered the first battle of the game, which is a coil snake. And then it started playing the battle theme, battle against a weird opponent. And I was like, oh my god, this game is an RPG. And I wasn't really big on RPGs. I never really was. Because the only RPG game I played before Earthbound was Paper Mario the Origami King. And even then, that game really isn't an RPG. But yeah, I was like, this game is an RPG. That's when I actually decided to just sit down and play the full game. And it was freaking amazing. Like, that's crazy. This game is one of my favorite games of all time, even though I only played it for the first time last year. But that is it. We got the broken antenna. Jeff will be able to fix that later, and it will turn into his ultimate weapon, the Gaia Beam. And I'm out.